I would like to thank Asher Lewis for sending me this story that is coming out of Alabama, and it is dealing with yet another idiotic politician who wants to implement something that we all know is not going to work. So this woman's name, and for those of you who are in Alabama, will most likely know who she is. She is the governor of Alabama, whose name is Kay Ivey, and she, like some of these other administrators or these officials, she wants to do something similar to something I believe that they tried to implement in Florida, but I don't know if it went through. So we heard about one of them saying, well, let's arm the teachers with guns. That way they can protect themselves in the event of a mass shooting. Well, this woman is basically saying the same thing, but instead of saying arm the teachers, she says she wants to arm the principals. The NAACP got word of it and said that was probably the absolute worst idea. Let me go ahead and read this article. A plan by Alabama Governor Kay Ivey to let principals and other administrators store weapons on campus so they can respond to shootings drew mixed reactions Thursday, with an education group expressing support and the NAACP calling it the absolute worst idea. Ivy School Century program would allow administrators in schools that do not have a law enforcement officer on campus to access a weapon kept in a fingerprint-controlled safe. Principals or other administrators who pass required testing, qualify as the sheriff, deputies, and have weapon permits would receive specially marked bulletproof vests to wear during a school shooting so police wouldn't mistake them for a killer. I can see that backfiring. Ivey's office said the program is voluntary and school systems can decide whether to participate, and Alabama law enforcement agencies will oversee training. Then I gotta question this. How long will the training be? Because if it's only going to be like a month, then y'all might as well go back to the drawing board. The Alabama Association of School Boards said that while having trained school resource officers is the optimal first line of defense and arming school personnel isn't a long-term solution, it recognizes Ivey's desire to move quickly to protect children. The Alabama Century program appears to be a reasonable interim solution with some sensible safeguards until the legislature can address the issue. Sally Smith, executive director of the association, said in a statement, "You know what I'm noticing? With all these shootings that are happening at these schools where the shooter is a white male and pretty much has been for the last few shootings, they want to implement these policies where the administrators or the teachers and whoever's in charge of the school can get access to guns. But let this have been a black shooter. Oh, we're putting bars on the doors. We're putting bars on the windows, chains on the doors. We're implementing more metal detectors. Basically, we're going to turn this school into a prison. Meanwhile, we're going to implement and have these guns go into these white schools, and we're going to turn it into a possible war zone." Do you see where I'm going with this? Let me continue. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP, was sharply critical of the move. "This is the absolute worst idea imposed on students," said a statement by Bernard Simelton, president of the Alabama NAACP. Since the Columbine School Massacre in 1999, more than 215,000 students have been exposed to gun violence in schools, and I'm sure most of them are white. The answer to stop gun violence is not to bring in more guns. It wasn't immediately clear how many Alabama's 1,473 public school lack school resource officers and would therefore be eligible to arm administrators. A spokesman for the Alabama Department of Education, Mike Sibley, said a recent survey of superintendents turned up 250 total officers in local school districts. Not all systems responded, and the state was trying to determine exactly how many schools don't have officers. At least one local school district near Dayton, Ohio, has installed gun safes in schools so workers can get to weapons if a shooting occurs. And 2 Georgia school districts have approved plans to let select staff members carry guns. While a proposal to let Alabama teachers carry guns didn't pass at this year's legislative session, a school safety task force recommended putting more officers in schools. Ivey says she supports that, and the Century program will provide protection meanwhile. You know what? Let them go ahead and put them in their schools, because if something pops off, it'll happen amongst them. Because see, this is the thing. We don't know what the mindset of the people that they're going to allow to have access to these guns. We don't know what their level of mentality is. Some of these teachers are the same ones that's going around sleeping with their students, and you want to give them a gun? Some of these teachers actually put hands on their students in a physical and violent way, and you want to give them a gun, a projectile weapon where all they got to do is pull the trigger and that's it? You let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.